Pradhanamantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. 20,000 crores have been earmarked, and slowly it is picking up, and probably what they claim at least 25-30%.
Dr. Ashutosh in here. So he studied in ICAR, Mumbai, and today he is behind one of the, you can say, a lot of pioneer things which has happened in aqua. So I would like to invite Dr. Ashutosh to start his presentation.
First of all, I am thankful to the organizer for giving me this opportunity. Do we have potential in aquaculture? Do you sense that? Absolutely. I mean, if you see the growth, you can't even, dairy and aquaculture, fisheries, these two things are very much important allied sector of agriculture. Now, when you try to look, I'm talking about the world population. What about the Indian population? It is 141 crores. Now, food is available, wheat, rice and everything. Of course, there is some stagnation. But when we talk about the nutritional security, that is the lean protein, I think probably the fish is the cheapest source. And then you see how India is the second largest fish producing country in the world. We have recent data says 19.5 million metric ton. But if you compare with China, they are 4 times ahead than us. So there is a huge gap. It is our responsibility to fill it. How to fill it? That's a big question. And of course, present government has given some kind of policy impetus with the what you call Pradhanamantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. 20,000 crores have been earmarked, and slowly it is picking up, and probably we will able to achieve that. Now you see here, out of this, around 19.5, almost 142% comes from the inland fisheries. Inland fisheries, we talk where there is no sea. There may be some connection with the sea, but not exactly in the sea. And marine capture fisheries slowly is getting stagnant. That is around 4.2 to 4.57 million metric ton. That's the highest production. And we have all the maritime states, this much production comes. So there is a huge potential in aquaculture, in inland fisheries. And probably for that only we are working. Now, you see the major challenges. Now, what are the major challenges? With regard to the feed, how much feed do you produce? Pelleted feed. If you go 10 years back, we were talking only about the natural feed. There was no feed-based aquaculture in the country. And what is it now? It is around, say, 2 million metric tons of feed in aquaculture we produce, 0.7 to 0.8 for shrimp, and almost 1.2 for the big fish. I think somehow I missed some slide here. The slide would have given a better this thing. Now, if you try to see the market, what is the government's aim? They say that up to 2047 we should have around 30 million metric ton of fish. So even if you are considering 1.5 FCR, it should be around, say, around 31 million metric ton of feed. We are producing only 2 right now. Because why I am talking like this, 100 around 142% is inland production, rest is marine. So you minus that, it is coming around 30 million metric tons of feed, and we are producing only 2. How many feed mills are working in the country? Around 28. And most of them are working under capacity. Not they are being explored optimally. So, of course, they produce seed. Now the feed is going to the Bangladesh market also. There are 1 or 2 companies exporting also in Europe, particularly the cold water fish species feed, but still long way to go. So what are the major challenges? Environmental and resource challenges, climate change impacts, rising feed and feed ingredients cost. Now, if you see the shrimp feed, it is around 108 to 110 rupees per kilo. By the time it reaches to the farmer's place, the pond, it is around 110 rupees a kilo. Shrimp feed, fish feed, it starts from 30-35 rupees and goes up to 60-67 rupees, depending on the protein percentage. Now, if you try to look what is the major ingredients, rice bran. When I started my career as a student, it was 1 rupee a kilo. Now it is 18 rupees, 17 rupees. You see the wheat. Some time back, maize was costlier than the wheat. Last year. So, there are changing scenario in the price, and that is probably offering a daunting task to the industry and the scientists like us to survive. Because how to cut down the cost, it is a big thing, and how to address those issues, on those lines we are working. Somewhere we have succeeded, somewhere we are still, putting our efforts. Then, disease outbreak. So disease outbreak is like, any animal industry. We do have the disease outbreak because, when you are going for high stocking density, feed based and all that, the disease will come. Then the limited diversification. Still, if you see China, they have 100 species which is commercially important. In India, if you try to look into, it is hardly 24, 25, not more than that. Policy and infrastructure, this is again a huge thing. Now, each state has a different policy, their own policy, and this is impacting a lot in very many ways. Then market access and value addition. Overfishing and stock depletion, we do not worry about that. So this is about the shrimp industry as I was talking about. Now, the strategy for sustainable growth. This climate change is inevitable. The fish, that it is a cold-blooded animal. It is not like a cattle. It remains in water, and body temperature is regulated with the environment temperature. So, what happens when there is an extreme in the weather or climate, rather you say climate, extreme in the weather, it goes off feeding, like in the winter. Because of the climate change, earlier winter used to be 2 months. There are many people from UP I think that are talking, I could guess. Now, so winter was 2 months. Now if you try to look, it is almost 4 months around. So October 15 to October 31st it starts, and it goes up to February 15. So Feb 15, if it is going, it is a very big. Now what the problem? Fish do not take feed. Now, is there any way to increase the metabolism of the fish? And that's where the science comes. Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. And after working 5-6 years on those lines, this year I have released a feed that is specifically to address the winter conditions. During winter only that feed can be given to the fish, carp I am talking about. Because the entire North India was suffering. When I was posted the Sundarban and Northeast, I found that farmers are suffering a lot. So 5-6 years I worked on that, then very rigorous field trial conducted, and then we found that yes, it is possible, and we have commercialized that feed this year in the month of May. Then there is a summer feed. Now summer feed, why? Because climate change, temperature is rising. So there will be some, temperature if it is going beyond 34 degrees, which will generally will not happen because the pond is, if it is deeper, the temperature will not be going down so much. But if the pond is shallower, then it will go. So for that also there is feed. On that also we are working, but it is a kind of basic research because that much 35, 36 temperature will never get. At least in another 10, 20 years, it is a kind of basic research that will lead some. Then there is the seed and system specific. Nowadays, I think sir has left, people talk about RAS, reservatory aquaculture system. People are talking about the biofloc system, and each system is independent. In the RAS, we are using clear water. Now, clear water, if you are using, there is no plankton production. Fish food organism, plankton is a fish food organism. There is no production. How to cope up? So, system-specific feed, whether it is a RAS, whether it is a biofloc, or even KH, Pen, Maharashtra, so many reservoirs have been given on lease to the people, and they are installing cages in that with some regulations. Okay, but do we have similar kind of feed in there? No. There should be some specific feed because there is artificial impoundment, and that is kept in the reservoir itself. And there is a lot of siltation issue. Then species is specific. If you see rohu, katla, mrigal, grass carp, silver carp, only one feed is available in India. We do not go for a species specific feed. We give everything for all the species. So that should not. There should be a fish. If katla is there, we should design a feed only for the katla. You know the katla is surface figure. Then coming to the precision feeding, on this aspect also last 5 years we are working. We have, I will come later, I have some slides on that. Then nowadays the recent concept is you culture fish with the microorganism in the water. So the beneficial microorganism, there are inoculum available. You introduce into the water, give the substratum, allow them to grow, and that they will help the fish population to grow. Then we have feed supplement that also can be added in terms of additives. The growth of pelleted feed is almost 18.2% or something like that in India. Aquaculture, aquafeed per year. And additive market, if you see, it is on 4.3%. It is quite lucrative. And I told you the gap, how much gap exists. We are producing only 2 million metric ton of feed. And still we have to go a long way. So probably there is a lot of scope for the industry to come up. And those who are in the poultry, for them, very less botheration is required. They can prepare, they can formulate, they can supply very good quality captive. Now, then coming to the input optimization. So there are different kind of culture practices, like we talk about IMTA, integrated multi-trophic aquaculture. Here, the waste of one is the feed for others. Zero exchange. What you call zero loss. Everything is circular economy, you can say. Then energy busting and all that, and sleeping, plankton dynamics. Now feed additives and nutraceuticals. So we know that aquaculture feed cost is around 50 to 60%. To reduce cost of alternative ingredients, this we have worked and we have released this feed that is leaf meal based diet. You know, in Africa, when there was a famine, The NGO, one NGO has put words, something like a dictum like thing, the leaf for life. महाराणा प्रताप जी लोग, हम जानते हैं कि महाराणा प्रताप ने घास की रोटी खाई थी। घास में कुछ ऐसा था ना जब इनको एनर्जी देता था, जो 42 किलो का तलवार चलाते थे, कुछ तो था उनमें। तो इस बात को लीफ मिल एंड देन he applied in the case of fishery. Only thing we have to take care is that in the case of fish, the fiber should not exceed 12 to 14%. If it is 12%, very good. Less, very good. Like banana leaves, I found unsuitable. Bamboo leaves, I found unsuitable. But many agriculture crops and leaves where the protein is around 20 to 24% can be utilized. Because like moons, urad. Farmer either they feed to the cattle or they throw sometimes. So that can also be utilized to make feed, and at least for the small farmers, we have trained more than 700 farmers on those lines, northeast and eastern part of the country and the Kerala, where the rakba, the water spread area is very small, and then there is a scarcity of feed. So I told you make farming. You try to make farming feed using my formula, my ingredients, my ways. I have developed a small, and why this? Because if you try to look forward, fermentation, solid state fermentation is one area where we need to concentrate, even industry need to concentrate if you try to address the aquafeed industry. Like silage. In cattle also it is there, and we also prepare silage. Method may be slightly different, but it is one and the same. So this leaf meal, we have this technology, we have released already. Then coming to the insect meal, nowadays everybody talks about black soldier fly, larvae. But these are for the replacement of proteins. Remember one thing, this protein, it is a bit difficult to replace. Because if you are replacing with one component, probably the amino acid balance is not up to the mark. And nowadays we are relying more and more on the plant-based diet. So 3 amino acids, tryptophan, lysine, and methionine. These 3 are deficient in that. So if you are not able to address those 3 issues, growth will be impacted, number 1. Number 2, if you are giving for a prolonged period, probably there will be inflammation in the intestine that will reduce the growth. So when we release this, we have added the amino acid also. So the insect meal around 150 rupees per kilo, because here you will find a lot of fat in it, around 40% plus. Now that much fat if you are giving, you cannot store it. And so reduce the fat. Solvent extraction only, there is a well-known method. And if you are going for solvent extraction, that is the reason it is around 150 rupees per kilo nowadays. But we have developed a technology where we can bring down the cost to below 100. Then only it will be feasible. Second thing is, if you tell your consumer, those who are a fish eater, that your fish has been grown on a black soldier fly larvae, probably many of them will not eat. That kind of still, we have the mentality. Protein, we feel the protein means, protein means it is coming directly. What it has eaten, if they know, then there will be a problem. Then the algal meal. This is another area where a lot of algae we have, and protein, if you feed 20%, it goes up to 70%. So you extract essential oil from the algae and use it for the fish. At least for the hatching. So then the technology-driven production, you have a RAS, you have a bioflow, you have a mariculture, you have cages, so on and so forth. Then ecosystem-based management is again some sort of like INTA and BIMTA, here you have to use it. And then the genetic improvement. Sir was talking about the genetic potential. Now, when I started my career, there is a grass carp which feeds on grass carp. An adult grass carp can feed 18 kg of grass every day. So if you go to the eastern part of the country, there the grass carp pond, simply they take the fodder, what they give to their cattle, they chop it and throw it in the pond. And you will find that there is a good growth of grass carp. In some portion in Bihar, you will find grass carp grows up to 3.5 kilo in 1 year. Means there is a genetic potential. If you want to achieve the target, instead of going for a common carp, rohu, katla, where the growth potential is not there, it will be hardly going in 1 year 1 kilo. Better to go for grass carp. And bigger grass carp, that is a good market when you are on 350 rupees a kilo. So why not? So now we are working, we have released one mangur fish, Clarias petracus, Indian mangur, Maha mangur in India. Our sister institutes have Jayanti Rohu. There are some other like Rosenberg, Scampi we call it. So on this line also we are working. From our institute, one Maha mangur has been released. It has been given to the NFT, National Development Board, and they have different centers in different states, and they are progressing. Then the marketing challenges, almost the similar kinds of challenge we face. Now Trump tariff is a big issue for aquaculture. Fortunately, last month, United States Marine Information Services have endorsed that the Indian products which are we received is complying all our requirements. And Venezuela and China, they put a full stop. So till 31st of December, our US market. After that, what will happen? Because we have the negotiation going on, probably our Piyush Goyal Sahab will succeed bringing something. Let us hope for the best. But US, European Union, how long? We need to find out the market, Middle East. Some small countries, there we can supply. So this is also one area where policy sort of research is needed, policy sort of support is needed, and it all, industry can give suggestions, we can give suggestions, but it should come from the government. It should trickle down approach from top to the bottom. Otherwise, it is not going to happen. Then the domestic market. If you see the shrimp, prawn is so good. How much consumption in India? 25 to 30%. Rest, it was export only. Now we need to increase the domestic production because we don't have domestic production. The way we eat paneer, curd, milk and all, we do not eat shrimp in India, maybe because of the price or some kind of notion we have that it will create cost. Being a fisheries person, I say no. We have analyzed, we have seen the composition, nothing like that increases the cost. So, then this is one area which is coming as the blockchain traceability. The entire history from where it comes, the product, and then it goes, every step there should be traceability, very transparent manner. You know what happened some time back when Sharad Pawarji was the agriculture minister, 2 farmers in West Bengal committed suicide. At that time I was posted in West Bengal, Sundarban. So we received the minister letter and we had to rush. We found out that last 2 crop he had issues with the viral disease in ponds, so he was wiped out. So whatever he has taken input from the company or the landlord or whatever, he was not able to give it back. So it was compounding. And ultimately that year the production was very good, but Japan, ethoxyquin issue, must be known. Overnight they brought down the level very, very less, 0.1 ppm or something. In India, earlier it was around 3 ppm. It is an antioxidant. And because of that, the whole entire industry processing industry was almost standstill. So this ethoxycline issue was a big issue some time back. Now people are not sending up to that level to Japan. Still they are not taking it. But this thing is there. Other countries are taking. But we need to have a kind of blockchain traceability in a very transparent manner. We should look into ourselves how, organic products. Of course, there are now, certification is going on in aquaculture also. What exactly is the outcome? If you go and see the farmers' field, I don't want to talk on those lines, but it is not very healthy. Then I was told to talk amino acid. I was talking. So we now working on the ideal protein concept and using that method. Ideal protein means by providing the accurate amount of amino acid. We have reduced the cost by 12 rupees per kg. We have relief for inlet saline water, one feed we have given to Falcon Marine. There we have reduced cost by using the ideal protein concept. And I was talking about that this is not possible. In fact, you see here, if you want to remove or reduce the fish protein in the feed, one thing will not work. What will work was you have to have a combination of many things. So you see threonine, lysine, and all that, This way, this is like a building block. One brick of this will go, another brick will go. So that way you have to vary. So you should not. And then, what is the benefit? So the benefit is the feed efficiency, improves FCR, leading to reduced production cost. Then the health and immunity, and reduce nitrogen waste. This is again a very important one, because if, whatever feed you are giving, almost 40%, 30 to 40% is going waste. It is going into the pond bottom. Now this will create a problem. So this nitrogen waste you can reduce. Then you can ensure the economic profitability, and finally, overall amino acid balancing is a key factor that influences fish growth performance, feed cost management, environmental sustainability, and ultimately the economic success of aquaculture. So this is big thing for ammonia, because unionized ammonia is highly toxic. It should not be more than 0.1 ppm in the case of fish. So if you are reducing the protein, how will you do that? By adopting a balanced amino acid, that is ideal protein concept, you can save. And then these are some of the diseases. Yeah. Now the collaboration, the benefit of collaboration. You can have an expert, a group of experts can sit together, address the issue of farmers, and can have practical solutions. It can bridge the gap, and there will be sustainable growth. Now, coming to the precision aquaculture. This is on this line I am working for the last 5 years. This is 4.5 years over. Now, we have developed this is 10 to 12,000 liter tanks, a kind of RAS. We have indigenous drum filter, where we have used a level sensor that can anybody take away and use in their RAS system. Then you see these are the sensors, what we have deployed in our tanks. So all the physicochemical parameters, because DO, oxygen, ammonia, these are the parameters are very important for the fish and shrimp. So we are able to see through our mobile even sitting at home. And we can monitor that. If something is going down or whatever, there is an alarm. And we using IoT, and IoT means Internet of Things, and AI. So we successfully we completed this. Then we developed this, we developed this, and you see our filtration system. So here we can control the ammonia to some extent. Our issue is only two. One is ammonia production, one is the suspended solids. These two, if you are able to control, so we have a mechanical filter. That is again level sensor based. It saves almost 50 to 60% of fresh water, because this water goes to clean the what you call the mess of the drum filter. That water we are saving. So when you are dealing with the marine species like shrimp, banami, probably this is solution. And we are doing banami only in this. So when we apply the sensors, and then we taken data, lab observations, you see the accuracy. It is quite reliable. So it can be an option. I am talking about the day ahead. Even government is giving a lot of emphasis on this. Again, the second phase is going to come because we are preparing the EFC. Second phase of this type of work will have, like drone you have seen everywhere now, drone. So government is slowly but surely giving emphasis on those lines. Then you see, not only that, we are able to see, this is the check trade, where you can observe the shrimp condition. We have used the data and using the yellow V8 algorithm of CNN, we can see the feeding behavior of the shrimp. Why? Why to see the feeding behavior? Because there should not be loss of feed. Here you see, I was talking that we are working on the feeder which can ensure zero wastage, knowing the hunger level of the shrimp. And for that we have developed a system which captures the acoustic signal produced by the shrimp. So we are using this. This information will be fed to the sensor, and sensor will release feed as per their hunger level. Because shrimp, when they eat something or they are hungry, they rub their mandibles and they produce a kind of sound, click sound. So to capture that sound, we have this, and we are working. The fourth step is only remaining. Up to 3 steps we have reached. So now we have huge data because aerator is on. So aerator had a masking effect. That masking we are removing. So we have a huge data on this, and probably we will succeed in bringing this. Not only that, we are also working in the decision support system. I am talking about the advancement in precision aquaculture. So we have a decision support system. Then we are going for a disease prediction. At least 3 diseases we can predict based on your text, photograph. You feed it, you can get what kind of disease. At least 3 diseases we have done. We need more and more pictures. So then image enhancement also on this aspect we are working. Now freshness of fish, industry needs, consumer needs. So we are looking into the freshness of rahu. This is for the shrimp. And interestingly, now everywhere you go, people give you the basa fillet. Basa, pangesis on fish. बॉम्बे का किसी रेस्टोरेंट में जाइए, अगर फिश केवल बोलिएगा तो ये पंगेसिस का फिले आपको कड़ी में डाल के फ्राई करके दे देगा, आपको पता नहीं चलेगा. Now, what is the extent of freshness? We are doing now the hyperspectral imaging of this, and probably in coming 2-3 years we will have a sensor for predicting the freshness of the fish. With this, though, I have covered very superficially because each slide is so big. I try to, compress myself within the stipulated time. I don't know how far I was able to reach to you because aquaculture people are very, very less, 1 or 2 only. But I will definitely tell you from the scientific distinct side that yes, there is a potential in the aqua industry. If you are in feed industry, you please come and develop. Because there is a lot of potential. 8.5% growth, 4 and 4.3% in the additives, aqua additives. It's a very huge sector. And probably we try to grab it. If science is always, in a progressive mode, it never goes back. Precision, the issue with the precision is the initial cost. Many startups I know in the country, they failed because there were no takers. One sensor is minimum cost in India is 5 lakhs, maximum if you are importing it goes up to 15 to 18 lakhs. So if you are doing in a small pond, it may not be profitable. So, many things are there. We have, in our meeting in Delhi, we have given all the information to the minister, how they are now doing all this, in the time. Thank you also. Nano-bubble technology, yes, there are 2-3 people, provider of nano, particularly from Bangalore. I have not used, but I have checked. Okay, it is working up to some extent.
To what percent?
Oh, it is something like I have seen. What they claim at least 25-30% and 37%.
Is it true?
Yeah, 25 to 30%, not more. Because we wanted to have one, but somehow the talk derailed because our money was not. See, 2.5 lakhs, 3 lakhs rupees, nano bubbles, which you are doing, and you are not getting benefit of it. It is not.
Enough resource.
So 2.5 lakh to a farmer, a small farmer, and that too for the tank systems. So if your aeration system is pakka, probably that will serve. But around 6 to 7 ppm of oxygen you have to maintain. When problem comes, when the animal becomes around 20 grams size, 18 to onwards, then the biomass will be more, the oxygen requirement will be more. In that case, what I did, in 30,000 I purchased an oxygen generator. From GM, because we are a government agency, we have to organize GM. So we purchased our 30,000 generator, and simply when there was some gate, we one pipe, 1 ppm or so. We are able to save it.
One more question, sir. What is the scope of export to Africa? Export to Africa, livestock.
Africa?
Straight line.
Africa, I can't say Africa because they have not come across. If you want to export to Africa, at least there is an agency called MPDA. So MPDA you contact and you try to find out. Now they have the new list. Okay, when the negotiation is on with the premier of that country. So that you can see.
Thanks a lot, and I must appreciate audience, those who stayed back and you supported us to listen this particular session.